Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we are starting episode 2 of this 5,000 square foot home. Come along with us as we show you guys at home how we finish this house. Before we go any further, we have officially hit 400 subscribers on our YouTube account. Thank you so much. And so because of that, we're doing another giveaway for $50 Visa gift card. All you have to do to enter is comment down below the word roof, because that's what we're doing next, and subscribe, and we'll announce the winner August 4th at 7 p.m. that evening. Now back to the video. In this episode, I'm going to go through all of the details as to how we accomplished the floor system for the entire 5,000 square foot house. And we're going to cover details on how we frame the walls for the upstairs, how we fasten them to the subfloor, and so much more. Let's start with some details on the floor system and show you guys how we accomplished that. When installing all of our floor system and the trusses for the floor system, we always make sure that this yellow tag is facing up. It indicates by saying top, or in Spanish, arriba. And then the reason that this is important is because you want all of these diagonal members to be going the same direction, and this is also an engineered product. So that engineer that makes this thing or designs it so that this way can handle the load and not the other way. If you install it upside down, it is not correct. It's not how it's supposed to be, and it's designed to be the other way. And one thing to note as well is every company is different. Some people put this tag on the bottom, some people put it on the top. It depends on who is manufacturing the trusses and where you get them from. And all you have to do to figure that out is just like it says, read top or bottom, or arriba or abajo. So that's the simple trick. Another thing is with these web trusses is you are allowed to cut the end of them. That's why they give you a 1 foot or 12 inches of plywood right here, so you can cut that off and you can trim it down to size. Let's say you have to cut an inch or you have to cut a foot. You are allowed to cut this part of the truss and the other part. Always double check though with your truss manufacturer, because that's really important. But with us, we're allowed to do that. But we want to make sure that we never go past this last 2x4 right here. So only make sure we cut this, and that's it. The last thing about these web trusses is these gusset plates. Why are they important? Well, number one, they tear your fingers and your clothes up. They will slice and dice you so easily. So when you're manhandling these things, and they're 24 foot long, the ones above us, it's really important to keep your hands out of the way from getting damaged or sliced from these gusset plates. And also make sure your clothing doesn't get snagged on it, because it will tear it, and I know from experience, and you'll ruin a nice shirt or nice pants. A lot of people don't even know that on their tape measure, indicated by a diamond right there, is 19.2. That's really important because it allows us to get 1 extra joist more than 2 foot on center. And so that helps us with longer spans. For example, the 20-foot span that we have above us, we can put an extra joist in that layout, and it allows us to have more of a stiffer floor. But it also saves money because you don't have to go down to 16 and add another joist. With 16 on center, you get 7 joists per 8 feet. With 19.2, you get 6 joists per 8 feet. And with 2 foot on center, you get 5 joists per 8 feet. So you kind of just pick which one, and also your engineer is going to tell you. But that's a cool note. A lot of people don't even know that that's on their tape measure. Before we go any further, I'm going out of town tomorrow for Friday. So we're going to switch to David. He's going to be doing all the recording, and I'm going to call it the David Cam. So let's switch to that.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the David Cam. Let me show y'all what we got going on inside. Right now I'm gonna go up here to check out what these guys are doing. They're getting ready, they're popping lines, they're chalking everything up. As you can see here, they're already marking all the doors out. There's a 2-4 door, and you can see they already marked them out. They got another 2-4 door here. Here they already started marking all the windows. There's a 3-0, 5-0, and they already marked it out. That's the center mark. And from there we go to the side, measure 1'6" to each side. That gives us a 3 foot. This is one of our favorite products that we love to use. This is Advantex subfloor glue, and the reason being is that we're able just to screw this on top of here, and it makes it super easy to just spray on on top of the joist, and we're able to lay our sheets fairly easy, because or not we'll be struggling with that big old glue gun that everyone hates. The fun part begins here. They're starting to prepare for the second story. They're getting all the bottom and top plates ready. We'll stack up a whole bunch of material here, and somebody will be down here pushing all the material up, and that's the way we typically try to get all the material up to the second story. Prime example what I was talking about, getting all this material up here. Here we have the guys right down here passing up all the material. Finally, we have the first wall up. This is how it looks. It's empty in the front right there because there's that big old opening for the staircase, so they weren't able to frame there. They would leave that for later for the fill-in. If you're wondering how they're able to stand up that wall in the front, this is how they do it. Basically, they get a stud or a brace and they nail it to the bottom right there and the top up there. They basically nail that on each side and in between, as you can see there. They do the same thing, and that's how they're able to hold up that wall. All right, you guys, now that I've shown y'all around, let's jump back to Corey.
I'm back from being out of town. Let me show you guys around on where we're at on the job site. So it is officially Monday. All of the guys went working on Saturday. I wasn't here, David wasn't here, but they got a lot done. And as you can see, we have the first set of roof going on right here over this little porch or mudroom entrance, along with the roof over the garage right here. It's a little wraparound roof that goes around the back media room or game room, and it wraps around the back of the building as well. And all it is a simple 6-pitch that goes from the wall up top down to this wall over here. And a cool detail that we did over here on the back of the house where this beam is, as you can see from the stud pack right here, we went ahead and did a pony wall up 1 foot 6 inches so that we can make sure we don't have to cut that beam and ruin the strength and the integrity of that beam. If we cut it, we would have had to do like some sort of metal gusset plate on the side of that beam. So not cutting it allowed us to get a 3-ply beam in there versus a 4-ply or 5-ply, which made it cheaper and easier on the framer, and it made it easier if we would have to get a metal fabricating guy to fabricate a metal gusset plate to go on the side. So that's a cool detail that we did on that little roof right there. Something else that got done while I was out of town is, as you can see, the stairs are officially complete. They are ready to go, and so now you can go from the first floor all the way up to the second floor. And also, what else got done was the subfloor on the entire second floor, along with all the walls. When you're gone for a day and a half, a lot gets done. Let me show you guys the product that they used for the subfloor while I was out. They used Advantex subfloor flooring, 3/4 of an inch thick by 4 foot wide by 8 foot long, and it is literally flat out the best, as you can see from what it says right there. This floor is amazing because it does not cup. It gives you a 100-day guarantee being out in the elements when building the house, and most importantly, a lifetime limited warranty if you couple it with their Advantex subfloor adhesive. I know David informed you guys about the subfloor adhesive, but this is the subfloor that we're using, coupled with that Advantex subfloor adhesive. It is an amazing product. You get no squeaks, more importantly than any of the lifetime warranty. No squeaks, no worries about your hardwood floors or your carpet or your LVP having a squeak every time you walk on it, because we use this product right here, and it is absolutely amazing. It's a little bit more expensive than your standard OSB subfloor, but it is worth the expense because you deal with a lifetime guarantee of no squeaks on your floor. Another cool detail that has taken place on the second floor is we're doing 9-foot walls for all of the walls on the second floor. Why is that different than the first floor? Well, number one is this is the bedrooms. This is the space where you want to feel more cozy, more comfortable. You don't want a big old space that's 10-foot wall, and believe it or not, doing with that 1 foot difference makes a difference and makes it feel a little bit more cozier and kind of comfortable. Downstairs, you want to feel more open. When someone walks into your house, you want that grand effect. But when you're laying in your bedroom, you don't want a bunch of wall space that you have to fill with decor and make it feel so tall like you're in a big old room. You want it to feel cozy and comfortable, so that's why we went with 9-foot walls on the second floor. Something that's always overlooked when it comes to building a home is, where are the AC chases gonna go? We always like to look out for where the AC ducts are gonna go, and maybe even some plumbing pipes. But in this spot right here, we have a 24-inch by 32-inch box on this side of the closet and on the right side of the closet over here. And what that indicates is a spot that's designated just for AC ducts to go from the attic down to the first floor. Because if not, you'd have nowhere to run your AC ducts, and it would kind of take up a lot of space in the room. I'm trying to figure out what I can show you guys, the world. What is importante a ustedes. Porque a mí That'd be a good transition, actually. Okay, outside of all the details that are going on in the home, this is probably the #1 most important thing on the entire job site. If you're looking to build a home, if you're looking to do construction, do not forget this important. Get your notepad out, take a note, write this down, put a reminder, and I'm gonna show you guys what it is right here. The cooler. Without this bad boy, you will not survive. You need a cooler on the job site and a spot to get a cold water or a mineral water or whatever you drink wherever you're at to get you through that summer heat, especially here in Texas. Around the entire exterior of the building, we are now putting in our window seals on the bottom of the windows right here, along with our headers on top. And you may be asking, why now? What caused that? Are they done with the framing? Where are we at in the building phase? And when do we do the headers? Well, really, there's just one explanation. The cornice guys are on their way coming out here on Wednesday. And so we're trying to get this ready for them so that while we're setting the roof and doing the rafters, they can be down here on the ground working and putting all of the 4x8 sheets of zip wall on the entire perimeter. It's not necessarily a specific phase in the building that we did it. It's really just a phone call that was called out to us, and they said, hey, can we come out and do the zip wall and then start the cornice on the building? So we said, yeah, we'll switch gears, and then we'll start putting in all the headers and all the window sills and make it happen so that they have something to do and so that we can knock that off our list. We already talked about the stairs and them getting built, but I want to tell you guys some specifications that the code is going to require here in Texas. It may be different where you're at, but specifically here in Texas, what they're looking for is on our riser or the rise that's going up from this step to that step has to be between a 7 1/4 inch and to a 7 3/4 inch rise. It can't be anything less than 7 1/4 or anything more than 7 3/4. So that's what they're looking on the riser. For the tread, they want a minimum of 10 inches wide on the tread, which we have a 2x12 for that. So it's 11 1/4. So that meets the code and makes us safe. And then another thing to look out for is the width. The width of the staircase has to be at least 36 inches wide for it to pass code, for it to be okay here in Texas. A simple trick when doing the material takeoff for your staircase, because it can look like very challenging to figure out what material I need, is use 2x12s for your tread and 2x6s for your riser. It makes it really simple. You don't have to know anything else. And then 2x12s for your actual stringers underneath that go on the bottom of the stairs. One other detail we did on the stairs is we put up a temporary handrail. This is just so if the family and the homeowner decide to come out to the job site, they don't have to worry about falling off, and it keeps us from having problems with OSHA or anybody that wants to come out here. And so we try to do this to make it easier to going up and down the stairs and to make it safer. Where I'm standing used to be 2 pallets of subfloor that was literally probably 8 foot high. And you may be wondering, how did we get this subfloor all the way to the top of the 2nd floor? Well, it's pretty crazy, but we did it all by hand. And how we did it was we took a platform, or we built a platform right here, and we would pass the sheet from this point up to that 6 foot high platform and then pass it up to another 2 guys that are on the top. And we did that all by hand. And why do we split it into phases? Because obviously Texas heat, we got to make it easier. So it's easier to go from ground level to 6 feet, from 6 feet to 11 feet. And so you do it in 2 phases instead of one big push from the ground all the way up. Saves your muscles and that makes it a little bit easier on your shoulders. We have porches going up as we speak. They're getting the first beam nailed in to the corner over there on the porch. And what they did is went 5 1/2 inches back from the edge of the concrete to accommodate for brick or potential of brick in the future. We're not doing it right now, but it is a good thing to do to go 5 1/2 inches from the edge of the concrete back in for that post and for all your beams that go around the perimeter of the porches. But once they get that done, they can take the joists from this point out to those beams and set those joists, and then they can take the roof and go from the beam up to the house up here on the side of the wall and set the roof for the porches. So they're getting going on that as we speak. But let me show you guys some more details up here. A detail that we always do is there's brick going right here on the side of the house and this point right here, and it's going to sit on top of these 2x6 treated plates right here. This accommodates all of the weight from that brick and helps distribute it down. So we always do a 3 plate or a triple plate right here to hold all that weight, and then we support from there down with some 2x4s and extra bracings. But this is how we do it here in Texas, and this is how we meet the code, because one 2x6 is not enough. So this helps it be more distributed supported and held up properly. I know this video is mainly about the second floor framing and the floor system for the second floor, but I want to give you guys a glimpse into what the next episode is going to look like and how our roof system is going to be. As you can see right here where I'm standing is over the ceiling joists, but this is our rafters, and this is a small section of roof where I can show you guys and illustrate how it's going to be. This is your common rafter right here, and these down here are your ceiling joists down here on the bottom. But I want to give you all some good terminology as to what's going on inside the roof. Number one is you have your collar ties. These are your collar ties, and what that keeps the roof from doing is opening up. It keeps a roof literally from opening up like this. It puts a cross member across the middle and keeps it locked in and tied in together. Another thing is this part right here is the gable end, and these 2x4s are the spot that the zip wall from the exterior out here is going to be nailed to. This is simply just to fill in the roof, but the most important one is right here in the middle. It supports our ridge beam, or in this case our 2x8 ridge, and transfers that weight from this point down to the wall, which down from the wall down to the concrete, and makes everything fully solid. One more thing over here is our triple 2x6s for our brick. We told you guys why we do that, and so this is accounted for and ready to go. Then down here on the bottom, we have what's called deadwood. We call it deadwood, other people call it other things. All it is simply a spot that you can use for nailing the ceiling or whatever's gonna go down here. Let's say it's sheetrock for the interior right here, and then 4x8 sheets of soffit over here, but it allows you to nail from the bottom up into this block and gives you a spot to support your ceiling material. Same thing on top of that wall. We have two of those right here, indicated by these 2x4s. You are able to nail on this side along with this side over here. Last thing for this little spot right here is we have what's called a rat run. This, what it does is straightens out all of your joists and makes them square so that they're not leaning left or leaning right. It allows the joists to be braced and supported, going completely vertical or level, or you could say plumb. And so that's what this does. On a bigger scenario, you would have a strong back down the middle with a 2x4 flat and a 2x6 on the side to help support the roof or the ceiling and keep it from sagging in the middle, and also stiffen everything up. So those are some details on this little roof and how we handled all of the framing for this section. We talked about the most important tool on the job site, the ice chest, but another thing that we do is we like to leave all of the punch work out on the home until the very end, because the number one thing we're trying to do when building this house is get it dried in. We're trying to get it out of the elements and get it to where water does not get in on the inside of the home and ruin the studs. So why is that important, and what does that mean? Simply putting it, we leave all the stuff that's annoying, that's small, that's not really that important till the very end. And to give you a good example would be to leave out like deadwood. Over here, we have deadwood missing. There's a 2x4 that's supposed to be going in this spot to account for the sheetrock that needs to be nailed on this direction where this wall is right now. So if they put sheetrock in this location, there'd be nowhere to nail it into this corner. So there needs to be a 2x4 right here, but we leave all of those small annoying things out until the very end, because like I said, the number one goal is to get it watertight and make sure the home is not getting rained on, so we can get our framers in here on rainy days, our HVAC guys in here on rainy days, our electrician in here on rainy days, and the plumber, and so forth. Plus, you don't want all the wood getting wet because it can cause it to warp and bow and shrink and expand and so much more. Now that I've shown you guys a bunch of details as to how to frame the second floor on this house, that's a wrap for this video. Make sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, because we're doing the roof next in the next episode. Help us hit that 500 subscribers. Until the next one, keep on building.